Hey everybody, it's Bob Phibbs, the Retail Doc. But you know that because you're on my page. Hey, I am here at Momentum with Manhattan and Associates, and my guests today are Ann Ruckstahl. She is the SVP CMO of Manhattan Associates. Anna Vingradova, Head of Global Sustainability with Wayfair, and in the middle is Michael Relich, co-CEO of PacSun. Well, I'm glad you're here today. We are talking about sustainability, and you know, I was on a broadcast recently, and I said, if it didn't have a press release, is sustainability important? And we had a big laugh out of it, but there's a certain truth to it. For a lot of people, it's just something to say. So could you tell us, like, why is it important and why are we here today?
Okay, so you're talking to a bunch of geeks here. Okay, so we are the people that run supply chain and commerce. So people don't know this, but supply chains around the globe, we generate 60% of the global emission. So if anybody's gonna make a difference, will be this collective group of people, right? And we also think that we're in this window of incredible opportunity. Technologies like artificial intelligence, IoT, robotics, oh my God, we have so much like visibility and control into the entire supply chain, demand and supply. We have a climate issue, which we all kind of know. The younger generation are beyond motivated. So I think we have this perfect convergence where we can make a huge difference. So that's why we're here.
Well, and it's a tough time to be talking about sustainability because on the one hand, we hear the consumer cares about sustainability. Oh, they're making all these choices. At the other time, they're ordering like online like never before and fast fashion and a lot of other things. So navigating all that is tough. I'm going to turn to Michael. So how do you, part of the thing about sustainability that you've educated me about is that it's not just things that can be recycled, right? It's ultimately, like in yours was, how do you minimize the drive miles out of your transportation network? How do you, because that's sustainable too, right?
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, you look at most supply chains, people bring things in from Asia through the West Coast, bring it to a DC in the middle of the country, and end up shipping it back to the coasts, which is a little crazy. But there's ways to mitigate this. And that would be, American Eagle, what they've done they bought a company called Quiet Logistics, which actually has 7 DCs. And each DC can service a group of stores within one day. And they actually use machine learning to split up their orders into each of these DCs, and they can actually ship e-commerce orders and get to the customer really quick. So they got great customer service, but they're saving a lot of money on shipping. And they also can replenish the stores within a day, so they make sure they're putting the goods where they need to be. So they're generating more profits, less expense, and better customer satisfaction.
So you're telling me sustainability can be profitable? Is that it?
Can absolutely be profitable.
And
I can add to that.
Please.
According to McKinsey, your operating profit can improve by 60%. Not even brand premium or new product and services because of sustainability,
wow,
but just cutting down on your energy, your waste, your raw material. Just that alone, there's money in it. It's not a feel-good thing.
Well,
it is a business thing.
And to your point, it's a lot of moving little pieces that make up sustainability. As a consumer, we just hear like, oh, I put it out in the recycle bin, I'm sustainable. That's not quite it. There's a lot more to it. And your point is all about preventing it. So I'm going to ask Ann, how do you minimize shipping air? And can you explain what that means?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think maybe just to talk a little bit about the prevention, right?
Okay.
What you were saying. So ideally, you look across all of your supply chain and understand where like all of this like waste, are being generated. Is it damages? Is it returns? Are you shipping air? And how can you prevent it? Usually people don't really realize how much money are associated with those wastes. And whenever you start introducing programs like a better inventory control or the damages prevention through better transportation and like better storage, you can really start saving quite a lot of money. A good example on the returns prevention that we just did in Wayfair, it's introducing programs like replacement parts or the repair, where we can go to customers' houses and actually help to get them to the point where they are very happy about their order, so that then we reduce returns. They are happy with their products and sustainability wins.
All right, so we have to stop just for a minute because you have to define shipping air, because I'm sure there are people out there like, so I didn't know they shipped air, Bob. Can you help us with that? So what does that mean exactly, shipping air?
Actually, I'd love to take that one.
Oh, great, excellent.
So basically, we import the majority of our goods from China. and we put them in 40-foot containers. So what happens is buyers write orders and they need them to be in the distribution center by a certain date. Now they're managing what's called an open to buy, which is their budget, and they write orders along a line. So what happens is an order's ready, it gets put into a 40-foot container, but that container's only half utilized. So, but they need the goods. So we put it on the boat and it ships over and it's half empty. Now if we're a little smarter and we decide, okay, well, let's go, and we know we're going to get across the month, we're going to get 3 orders. Well, let's go and bring them in early and fill the container. And then basically we don't ship air because the density in the container now is increased. And, you know, if you think about it, the economics changed. During the supply chain issues during COVID, the price of a container went from $1,800 to $20,000. So making this little trick became very profitable.
Yeah, my goodness.
You see how we load the trucks. There's 3D modeling. So you know exactly how to utilize every part of that truck. If you have a warehouse, every part of your storage, from the mezzanines to the conveyor belts, everything is utilized. It's pretty amazing how well we can pack.
Well, and if I'll take that just one sec, hold that thought. But you think about retail in the old ways. Here's the distribution center. Let's take our truck. We'll go, fill it with merch, and then it'll go out and it comes back empty. Nowadays we got returns, but you're always thinking of that extra energy of that's going nowhere. So what would you like to add, Anna?
I think another example, like as a customer, you probably experience quite a lot that when you're getting a large box, right, and you've ordered a very small item and you're opening that box and the rest is there. I think this is what we are all also working to prevent, right? Like using the technology, you can really choose the packaging that fits exactly the product that needs, and then you're just shipping like that, like very tightly packaged product that also helps you to optimize the space in the trailers.
Yeah, I mean, there's technology out there where you record the dimension of the item you're shipping, and the system can actually see, well, this customer's ordering 3 items, it'll recommend which box to put it in to minimize shipping.
Exactly.
I love that. Well, and again, if you were a smaller retailer, you say, well, I could do this my own. Maybe, but the bigger you get, the economics become, you have to do this, right? It's now table stakes to be looking at all this.
Absolutely. I mean, during peak season, we'll ship 250,000 units a day out of our DC via e-commerce orders. And you think about it, to scale that high, you have to have this technology.
Yeah. Now let's think about it from the sustainability from the customer's standpoint. Was it UPS last year that came up with the idea that you could wait a while to you'd say, I'll wait a few days and the truck only comes to your house a few days. And now they're trying to do that with like streets. But that gives you the option because, Ann, you had an amazing statistic about people who order things online.
Oh,
and what was that?
It's called consumer went from instant gratification to delayed gratification. We're learning. Instant gratification, no offense, Amazon Prime, right? So 2-day shipping and then a bunch of same day start getting added, and it's free shipping, free return. What do you think people are going to do, right? So I think after the pandemic now, there's a bunch of surveys out there. We looked at like people that order stuff online, what percentage of them don't even bother to open the boxes and the bags that arrive at their house? And the number is 85%.
Hold.
85%
Did you catch that? 85.
Yeah.
That's.
So you probably don't need next day or 2-day shipping, chances are. And then other survey also mentioned that right now 2 to 3 days, if not 5 to 8 days. And people are very conscientious. And Michael, you had a good recommendation about like, what do you do on Amazon, right?
Yeah, so basically on Amazon, when you come in and basically it tells you, it gives you the different options and when it will get to you. But I was reading a study that if you actually put what the carbon footprint is on each shipping method, that customers many times will opt for the cheaper option because it's the most carbon neutral. And not only do you save money, but you're saving the environment at the same time.
Well, you talked about that. You could air freight a container. What was that? You said, I could air if I really needed it, but what does that do to the environment?
Well, so basically to air goods, it's 30 times a larger carbon footprint than it is to put them on an ocean.
That's not 3, that's 30 times. That's serious.
It's a huge, huge difference. I mean, you look at those big carriers, you can get a lot of goods on there. So carbon per passenger mile or per freight mile is much, much lower.
So and going back to your idea of we used to ship things, which when you say it out loud, it sounds crazy, right? We ship things, comes in Los Angeles, get in all these trucks, go to the middle of the country. We have a lot of stores in the West Coast. Then we're going to take it all the way back to the West Coast and try to figure it out, right? Those days, in fact, you, I think, talked about onshoring now, looking at Mexico and some other areas where we aren't going to be waiting for that. And I think you said it might be a little more expensive to start, but what was the payoff?
Yeah, so absolutely. I mean, so people always looked at initial markup. Okay, what's my margin when I buy it? But half the time you don't sell it at that margin, because if it doesn't sell, you have to mark it down. And what happened during the pandemic is obviously there were delays, and the price of a container went from 1,800 to 20,000 out of Asia. So it made Mexico more competitive. But the other thing is it's quick. So now I can do read and react. I can create an item, I can test it in my stores, and if it works, I can get that order probably back in my stores in, probably 30 days. And therefore, I'm actually manufacturing to demand. And, yeah, it's going to cost me a little more, but my margins will more than make up for it.
And that's the key, making money at it. So can you give me, Anna, something that you have successfully implemented that's good for business and good for sustainability, something that you're doing there with Wayfair?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think maybe getting back to the circular economy discussion that we had earlier. So circular economy, it's kind of the idea that you're trying to utilize all of the materials and products instead of discarding them. So for us at the end of life, so we have lots of items lots of returns that we are not able to resell, or we have the inventory that we are for example, also cannot be resold. So we partnered with Habitat for Humanity and the Good 360, two very large non-commercial organizations, and so we are able to donate the items to them. It's good for business because we don't need to, we don't send them to the landfill, right? We don't need to pay any of those fees. It's definitely good for the people in need who receive them. And it's also, customers who are hear about that, and kind of that makes them feel good about the business practices.
Excellent. Love it. Michael. Oh, you want me to repeat that?
Yeah.
That's good. So give me something that you have initiated.
No, I
That's too
get it.
many.
I know.
Sorry.
How could you waiting?
No,
You have everything.
No, I apologize. Well, actually, one of the things is about returns, right? Because you look at apparel, returns are always in the teens or the high teens for most retailers. And returns are very costly. Not only if it's in a truck coming back to my DC, I can't sell it. And, a lot of times if they're good customers, we pay for the shipping, et cetera. And then when it comes in, it's usually aged. So I've marked it down, right? So a couple of things we do is we use a fit technology. And basically, customers can go in and register, and they can actually say what, because a lot of the fit technologies don't capture consumer preference. It doesn't know whether I like tight pants or loose pants. So what I put in is hey, this is the pant I like, this is the size, and now it knows the specs, so it knows it can actually go and capture my fit. So we use that to try to make sure the customers get the right item. But then second, on the returns, what we do is we try to encourage customers to go to the store. If they go to the store, they're driving less.
Yeah.
The good isn't on a truck, so I can sell it, and I can probably have my sales associate sell them something else. If they send it to the DC, now that's the worst because it's sitting on a truck, it costs more, it's polluting, and I'm using a whole bunch of supplies, right, of corrugate and such. So we're going to put anything called happy returns. So there's return depots all around the country. The customer can drop it off there, and what they do is they take the item, it doesn't even need to be packed. They confirm, so the customer gets their credit immediately, and they'll actually combine them and ship them in bulk to my DC. So we charge $0 for go to the store, minimal amount, $5, $4 for happy returns, and to the DC we'll charge $10 to make that the least desirable.
Well, that's a great point. Do you think more retailers are going to charge for returns?
They are.
Oh, look at the instant.
Yes, they are. And then like what you're saying, free if you go to the store, but if you return other methods, there's a cost. So you can actually encourage their behavior and their choice by pricing. Yeah,
Exactly.
It's not free
Yeah.
return anymore all the time.
Do you have something to add to that? I wanted to call up a poll I wanted to quote. Did you have something else to add to that?
I think from sustainability perspective, that will be critical because the fact that returns are free, I think really desensitize lots of that behavior. And for sustainability, you really need some money being associated with that for the unsustainable behavior to be prevented.
So I did a poll on LinkedIn. Thank you for doing my poll. I said, what is the most critical component for successful unified commerce and retail? So I'm going to see what our panel thinks. So it was a mix of online and in-store shopping, track stock, real time, and no customer likes. Which one do you think was the winner? Ooh,
The first one.
Mix online and inline online and in-store shopping,
Yeah.
track stock, real time, or no customer likes?
I'll do
The
the track stock real time.
Okay, and you would take
The Omni, the first one.
the
mix
first one.
of them.
61%.
They won?
Day one.
Oh,
course.
oh.
Only
You're buying
13%.
here,
Only
then.
13%
All
track the
right.
stock
Yeah.
real time, and 20% know the customer likes.
Okay.
So it's interesting that as two retailers, that's exactly what our customers are out there saying the exact same. Because I would have thought the
Wow.
same thing.
Yeah.
That's what I thought as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Can I add one little thing to what you guys are saying? The thing that Manhattan's working on, that my favorite, it's called let people have regrets without trigger another return. Because people change their minds all the time. I do. The problem is when you submit the buy now button, it's gone. There's no window for me to go back in and say, no, I want the red one, not the blue one, or I'm going to get a large instead of a medium. Then I have to go through the whole process, a return and everything. So now that grace window is literally up to the minute the
Yeah, that's
merchandise
crazy.
gets loaded onto the transport, right? Whether it's a truck or last mile, so that you don't have to do those unnecessary things. That's my favorite. Honestly, I think that would cut down a whole bunch of unnecessary travels.
Well, you know, it's interesting. I was also trying to find my other poll, but I couldn't find it. Thank you, LinkedIn people. I said, what was most important about buying something online? Was it the brand? Was it the fit? Was it the price? Any thoughts? Brand, fit, or price?
Price.
Fit.
Price.
Ooh, fit won. 70% was fit,
Really?
which really
Wow.
surprised me.
That's surprising.
But it fits into what you said. Oh, fits in.
Yeah,
Sorry.
well,
According to the plan, yeah.
yeah.
Because and I think probably more so for women than for guys. Because guys, let's face it, it's like the pants fit. Women, certainly, your sizing is not as consistent.
Not if you're Metro male, but that's okay.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
Especially, you know, wovens versus.
So that whole idea of sustainability has so many different levers we can pull. And by the way, you can comment on this. You know, let me know your thoughts. Any questions you have for them, we'll be looking at them afterwards. If you're watching this on the replay, that's perfectly fine. And any final thoughts on sustainability that you want to share that we haven't shared so far? Anna, anything?
Yeah, I think for everyone who is working on like variety of business projects, think about the ways how you can integrate like reduction of the emissions and waste. In any work that you're doing, I always found that there is a way how to integrate the sustainable behavior. So just like look for it and like consult with people in your company, you know, who are specialized on that.
Excellent.
Actually, I would echo the same thing. I think on a personal basis, you need to do everything you can to promote sustainability. If you're on Amazon, go pick the thing to go and get all your shipments combined on Friday. That's on a personal basis. I think in the company, the same thing Anna said. You know, you don't need to wait for a company-wide initiative to reduce emissions. You can look at every action that you do in your job, and you can make a difference and figure out a way to help.
Excellent. And
I would say it's like eating. You have to eat, but you just have one little extra criteria, which is be thoughtful about what you select, something healthy. And for me, we all do our jobs, whether we're in the stores or DCs or planning for allocation and inventory. I think that one little extra thought about how can I do this more efficiently?
excellent. And I'm going
I
to
think that's all, one extra variable.
I'm going to
Do it
piggyback on
differently. Yeah.
everything these three have said, which is the idea of also sharing it all the way down the line. It doesn't stay up in the boardroom. The associates see the impact of what we're doing, and they understand because they're looking for a place that feels like it's in alignment with their goals too as well. I thank you all for joining me today. And again, thanks for joining us on this LinkedIn Live. And I will see you for my next one tomorrow when I'm also here at Momentum with Manhattan Associates. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.